Think of it as a very simple, a smart one-way door for fluids like air or gas. It's just a thin, flexible flap. When pressure is low on one side, the flap opens to let the fluid in. When the pressure increases on the other side, it pushes the flap shut. This simple action is very important in many engines to control flow and improve efficiency. Now, let's look at the specific problem we will simulate today. These are the main parts of our simulation. We have a piston-driven chamber. This is like a container with a piston at one end that will move and push the fluid. Inside, there is a compressible fluid. This means the fluid can be squeezed. Then we have our flexible reed valve. As you can see in this small picture here, it's simple flap attached by a hinge, so it can swing open. And finally, we're going to use the contact detection module in ANSYS Fluent, which gives us to provide an event. It acts like a physical motion stopper. So as soon as the reed valve reaches a specific distance from the wall, we can stop the solution and we can prevent the reed valve to open again. But this is not simple. These are the key difficulties we need to solve. The most important idea is fluid structure interaction, or FSI. This just means the fluid and the solid parts affect each other. Simply put, the fluid pressure pushes the solid valve and the valve moves. Next, we have mixed motion types. This is very interesting. We have two different kinds of movement in our system. One is prescribed motion. This is for the piston, and we will use a UDF to give the piston an exact command or how to move. We are prescribing its motion. The other is calculated motion. This is for the valve. We don't know how the valve will move. It is a reaction to the fluid force. Fluent has to calculate this movement based on physics. Because things are moving, we will have complex mesh deformation. We need to use a combination of our dynamic mesh tools. Layering for the piston simple, a straight motion, and remeshing for the valve's more complex rotational motion. And finally, we have event detection. The event is the collision, the moment the valve hits the stopper. We need to tell Fluent to detect this specific event so we can control what happens next. So this is a complete overview of our problem. In the next step, we will go into Fluent and set up each of these parts one by one. One more time, press the sketch button and put my sketch exactly on X5 by pressing Z axis. So let's start by a circle at the origin with a diameter of 30 millimeter. And then with a line, I can start drawing 200 millimeter to the bottom and then 30 millimeter to the right side. And let's close that to the upper point. So this is the end, but before leaving the software, you have to make sure that the edges are shared. So when you press check button, you can find them in blue, and in this way, two edges were shared. So this is all for now. I quit ANSYS Space Clean and open ANSYS Meshing to continue, which shows us a minimum of 0.5. This is a great amount. As recommended in many different ANSYS guides, the minimum orthogonal quality of 0.1 or a higher value is highly recommended. And right now we can see a very higher number. So this ensures the quality of our grid. So as soon as you enable the dynamic mesh option, you would see some methods are provided. In this simulation, we're going to use all three methods, including smoothing, layering, and remeshing. So let's start with the smoothing. You already know that, but this method moves the nodes of the mesh to accommodate boundary movement, like stretching the springs. And it is used for a small deformation, especially around the valve, as it starts its motion. And we can proceed to our next major options, the 6UF and contact detection. So here is our plan. First of all, we want to define the valve's physics. I mean, we need to tell Fluent what the valve is. It is heavy. Does it have a hinge? Is gravity pulling it out? And we will do this with the define 6UF macro in our code. Next, we want to define the emergency brake, the contact detection. We need to tell Fluent what to do when the valve hits its stopper. So we're gonna define a trigger here, and as soon as the valve reaches a specific distance from this valve, we wanna activate the contact detection module. Next, we want to define the sponge, or better to say, we will look at the code that we will write. And this code creates a region in the fluid that acts like a sponge or filter. Because when we put a restriction for ANSYS Fluent to block the flow from here, we know that the flow can still move on from here, upside of our field. And in order to suppress this, to block the flow, we must write another UDF code. So these are physical constants for the calculation, like mass, gravity, lever arm, etc. And this sign function comes at the end. This is the physical part. This is the valve's current angle, and the sign function ensures that this restoring force is the strongest when the valve is open wide and weakest when it's nearly closed, which is physically correct for gravity acting on a heat flap. Very well, guys. I completed 500 number of time steps, and this is the residual plot. As you can see, we can see a fully converged solution in every time steps, and this shows the greatness of our settings and also the mesh grid that we employed in ANSYS meshing. From the animation box and then playback, you have access to 2 or more animations that you produced. You can press play button, and this shows what is exactly going on inside our domain. So as we can see, and I just want to decrease the speed so we can clearly see what is going on inside our domain. As you can see right now, as we begin, we can observe the exact velocity contour and the fast fluid jets passing the valve. Look closely at the exact image legend here. This shows the exact amounts, and at the very beginning, the valve is completely closed. The entire physical space is dark blue, meaning the general water speed is 0. Although the mathematical legend scale reaches up to 14 or even more meters per second to account for numerical changes. So as the valve swings slightly open later, we can see a fast jet violently shoots through this tiny gap between the valve and the wall of the prism. So this gonna continue for a while. As soon as the force balance exerted on the valve, which is a condition that for no more it cannot move the valve. And from now on, this is the gravity that dominant the motion. And at this point, we can say this is time to close the valve. This is not a prescribed motion. You already know that. And this is what the simulation is showing. So when the valve again continue to get back to its initial position, we expect to see higher amounts of speed. And let's just increase the speed. And now you can see once again, it decreases. And as soon as we get back to here, we can see a sudden increase, my bad. You can also see the motion at the piston entrance region. This shows the compression of air, which forces the valve to open. And when we get back to our initial piston location, we can see the valve is closing. So as another interesting output, you've got this mesh distortion. So let me stop in here. As you can see right now, this internal region has just stretched too much, but there might be some regeneration of grid. That was not apparent. Maybe the smoothing could handle it alone. And on the other side of the valve, we can see the compression in elements. So these elements are getting too distorted right now, but they didn't trigger the skewness criteria that we set, 0.7. And also, when I uncheck this, I can take a look on the other side of my domain, and this shows the layering technique. So as you can see here, The layers are getting added or removed after a while, and this is all based on the criteria, the class factor that we set. And this shows what we need. So let me, for clarification, just call it this is theta about z, and this is time in seconds unit. So I guess this is evident, and for better understanding, we needed this. So what we can see at the start of the simulation, I mean the 0 second, the valve is perfectly closed at 0 degrees. As the piston violently pushes the fluid, the heavy pressure forces the metal door open, and the curve smoothly shoots outward.